Good afternoon. I'm Rick Cutter with Cloud for Utilities. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to have a conversation today with three very interesting people and about a recent project they did. We're here with Tom Kaczynski from DC Water, Tina Santizo from Vertex, and Edwin Crow from AAC. Why don't you guys each tell us a little about yourself and your company? Tom?
Rick, I'm DC Water CIO, and I'm responsible for technology for the administrative systems, which includes our customer billing system, SCADA systems, and process control systems for the utility.
Tina from Vertex. I am Director of Service Delivery. So when we implement a CIS for a client, my team takes over managing the application on their behalf. And Vertex hosts and manages multiple CISs for multiple clients.
I'm Edwin Crow. I am a graduate of Clemson University. I want to make that point. And I'm also a partner at AAC Utility Partners. I manage operations and strategy development.
A little football thing going on here?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Well, welcome, guys. So we're here to talk about your recent project, Tom. And I know you guys won an award recently from CS Week for Best Project of the Year. If you could tell us a little about that project, and then I'd like to talk about these guys' role in that project.
Well, I'd be happy to, Rick. We implemented in December of 2017 a new customer information system, new mobile work management system, a new customer portal, customer mobile app, and a new bill payment and presentment platform, all in 12 months for half the cost of a traditional implementation.
I'm going to do this every time we discuss this, but did you say 12 months?
I said 12 months.
That's
Right?
amazing.
Yes.
I'm so happy. That's just amazing to me. And obviously your team did an awful lot to make that project successful. Tell me a little bit what Vertex and AAC did on the project.
Well, Vertex is our managed service provider, and they were also the system integrator for the project. And they run the system after it went go live, or after go live, I'm sorry. AAC, we contracted with AAC early in the assessment phase. They helped us develop a requirements document. They also helped us through the assessment process and the selection process, develop the statement of work, and then subsequently the contract. After we had a contract and we needed support staff for the project, we actually brought in some resources from AAC to one to lead the project and one to lead our test team.
Okay. What were some of the key things that you found that Vertex brought to the table to make the project successful? And I'm sure operations as well. We'll talk about that later.
Well, I think their methodology to begin with, and the fact that we were deploying a tier one cloud-based solution was another one. Their willingness to commit to the resources that were necessary to make the project successful, and frankly, their people. I mean, it was a tremendous benefit to have people that not only had experience in these types of systems, but actually were real true members and partners of the team.
Great. Tina, can you add a little bit on to what Tom said about your team and y'all's approach?
Sure. So several years ago, we got together, and I was fortunate to be on that team. We have years of running CIS systems, and we thought there's a way we can do this better. So we identified common processes and practices that are common across utilities. We configured SAP with 65% of the processes utility runs. That way, when we start an implementation, instead of starting at a blank slate saying, what are your requirements, we can actually show you the utility. Here's a process. Does it work for you? And if it doesn't, what do we need to do to make it work? Then we can focus just on the gap of 30% of development or configuration that's unique to the utility. What also helped is we were able to start configuring their data almost from day one because our data model was already set. That enabled them to start seeing processes on their data very early in the process, where usually it's much later.
Great, that's fantastic. And I guess AAC got involved early on in the project with their role. Edwin, can you add a little bit more about what Tom was saying? AAC did selection and other things for the project.
Sure, yeah. We engaged very early on just to analyze their business processes and really was there a need for a change? And that was something we dug into. Would technology enhance their ability to serve their customers? And we helped build a strategy, went through a whole selection process, evaluated, we cast our eyes across the entire market. I believe we did, Tom, and found a strategy and a partner that we thought would really work within our whole system, and it really did. Vertex has been a great partner in this. And one of the first things we look for is have a great partner as a client. We had that, And then we ended up with a fantastic partner with a solution that really fit.
I think 12 months. I'm going to continue that theme. 12 months kind of speaks to the great roles you all played in this implementation. Tom, to follow up on the procurement process, I mean, you did a formal procurement for AAC as well, didn't you? Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
we did a RFP for the selection of a vendor to support us in the selection and contracting of a new CIS, and that was full RFP. We got multiple responses. I believe it was close to 20. We evaluated those responses, and it was important to us that we selected somebody that was truly independent, somebody that didn't have a bias towards one system or another, but simply wanted to provide a solution that was the best solution for the needs of the utility that they were working with. And we selected AAC to help us do that work.
Great. Follow on that, Edwin. Tell me about independence at AAC. I mean, I hear different terms of what independence is, but you guys are not. You're not at SAP or Oracle SI or Harris SI. Tell me a little bit
Rick,
about that.
it's paramount. I sold software for years. The other partners at AAC were involved in delivering software solutions. And it was so frustrating to go through processes where you would be evaluated. And one of the vendors was a partner with one of the software firms. And surprise, surprise, that software firm won. And so our belief isn't that, it's not just to be ethical and transparent in the process, but not even the appearance of impropriety. And it's more than words. If you don't embrace that, then you don't work at AAC. And our thought is, why do it any other way? So we have no affiliation with any vendor. So when Vertex won this deal, they won it because they had the right solution for the client. And the client was very introspective to look at their needs and looked at the entire market. The other benefit is when a vendor like Vertex comes, they know that they're in a fair fight when they come, to do battle with other vendors.
Back up to you've been live now for about over a year, I believe. Tell me about operations, because I've heard of other projects. We talked earlier today, and I've heard of other projects in the last 15 years that have gone live in 5 or 6 months or whatever. And then typically you don't hear until later that they had tons of defects, bad bills went out, customers weren't happy, and they really had kind of a hot mess on their hands. Mm-hmm. Tell me about going live and then that period of stabilization, and what operations look like since you went live. I'd love to hear that from you.
So we went live in December. We were stable by May. That means billing everybody current. That means all of our backlog on the exceptions. And we generated a lot of exceptions intentionally because we wanted to review the accuracy of the system before we actually deliver bills to customers. We refined those exception processes and reduced the number of exceptions, and we've issued bills that are more accurate than the old system and more timely than the old system. We've actually reduced our billing cycle time from a historical 5 days to less than 3 days because we've been able to process things more efficiently in the system. But more importantly, if you walked into our call center today or you walked into our back office, it would look like we've been running this system for 20 years. Nothing would give you the impression that we implemented a system that was completely different 16 months ago today. Our talk time on the phone is about 10 seconds less than it was with the old system because people have more information available to us. The number of calls we get is down dramatically compared to the old system because we're processing things in advance of sending information to customers, like high bills. So if a bill is different than what a customer's traditional usage pattern suggests, it gets reviewed in advance. An explanation goes out to explain why it is different, and we avoid that high bill complaint on the phone call, 4 or 5 days later. So, as I indicated, if you came into our call center today, you'd think that nothing changed.
That's fantastic. Really glad to hear that, Tom, because I didn't want you to have a problem. That sounds like you did not at all. And now that you're live, you're in operations, you went from project to ongoing support for your cloud system from Vertex. Sort of, what's that demarcation line of what you do to run operations versus Vertex? I'd love to hear more about that as well.
Well, I'd say we're in quasi-operational mode because we're really changing the system as part of its post-go live. And we're in the process of implementing an S4HANA upgrade now, which will go live in May or June of this year. and a major upgrade to our mobile system to include a lot more processes that we hadn't had in place. We've made a number of changes over the course of last year to add more functionality to the system. But from an operational perspective, my goal is to make sure that the call center personnel and the customers that use our online systems get the products and services that they need. And we define those, and then we work with Vertex to implement.
And from a perspective of operations with your support,
Yes.
you're managing IT and applications
Correct.
from a technical perspective.
Correct.
Tell us more about that.
So our partner vendor Fujitsu hosts the infrastructure, and we work with them on managing that. We have complete monitoring and security there. We also have a technical team and SAP consultants to manage the application. One of the reasons we got stable so quickly is right after go live, we had both the implementation team and support team working to triage and get through any issues we found as quickly as we could, so we could get as stable as we could quickly. Now we are in the support mode, and I always challenge my team to become an extension of DC Water, be a partner with them. It's not just about fixing defects. If we find something that we think business process that maybe is causing some problems, we'll bring it up to them so that they can work with their users on correcting that. And if they have questions on how to work things, we also partner with them on that. So our goal is to be there for a phone call, not just a ticket, and to partner with them. And as Tom mentioned, we're doing the technical upgrade to S4. We try to keep this, our goal is to keep the environment current with annual releases so that we can keep them current with the technology.
So the project is live now. You met this great award that the CS Week folks do such a good job with that award process. What do you think were some of the key things to help you win the award? And how did these two folks' company help you deliver that?
Well, I think the obvious thing is the time frame.
12 months. I've already said that.
12 months. The cost, but the breadth of the solution. I mean, we've won the CIS implementation award, but we implemented far more than just a simple. Well, I don't want to say simple CIS, but single CIS solution, I guess I should say, with mobile work management, customer mobility, a new portal, new big payment presentment platform. And I think the combined solution and the benefits that are driven from it are some of the key elements of why we were selected as the winner of the award.
That's great. And these folks' role in the project obviously help support the implementation award. Anything in particular you want to call out about Vertex or AAC that you think really helped you excel?
Well, the one thing I say all the time, I tell people at the end of the day, the key component of the project was the people that were involved in it. That includes our own people, but it includes the folks from Vertex and the folks from AAC. The unusual thing is, or maybe it's not unusual, but it was certainly a benefit for us, is that nobody really knew the difference between a Vertex resource, a DC Water resource, or an AAC resource. When folks came into the room, they saw a true team of people working towards a common goal, which was the implementation of the system. And it didn't matter whether those people were vendors or whether those people were full-time DC Water employees. The goal was to implement the system, and the team coalesced so well, so quickly, that it was really just a tremendous thing to see, but it was also a tremendous thing to be a part of.
Right.
Rick, I just want to share,
Right,
I think that's a key factor in the success here. I mean, our belief system is it's about the people. These are hard projects. And we joke about the 12 months, but that was an intense implementation. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I don't know of another solution that's been implemented with the level of success in that time frame. And the focus on the team and the leadership you guys brought, engaged executives. Vertex bought into the system. I mean, we had spirited discussions, but we were always focused on the goal. And that's a key component in the Navigate One methodology, is making sure we focus on the issues and not the people. And we had quite a team. And the fact that you say executives didn't even know who people worked for, I think just completely shows that.
Great. Now, Tina, you guys have been doing this for a while.
Yes.
And you know a little bit about their business, obviously, where you can start it.
Mm-hmm.
Any key lessons learned that we can share with our audience here of what they should do for a successful project like this?
Well, I think executive sponsorship is key Tom and Charlie at the time were very involved. Were always available if there were issues that came up, and I think that truly contributed, as well as the teamwork. I think that helped contribute to the success, and clear communication.
Right. And the product, I think we discussed this earlier, was SAP.
Yes.
And you're I'm sure, a flagship partner with SAP on implementing systems and so forth. SAP had some involvement, I'm sure, with the project, but you really drove the prime implementation and so forth with the entire engagement.
Right. Our team did the complete implementation development, and then because we have a long-term agreement to support it, most system integrators will move on and pass off the running of the CIS to the utility. Rather, they pass it on to me and my team. So we have to live with whatever was developed and make sure that it operates correctly. So SAP is involved in some degree, but not very large. It was mostly really our teams working together.
I think that's actually an important point. The fact that at the end of the implementation, the same vendor that helped us through the implementation was going to be the person that ran the system for us for the next 7 years was instrumental in driving success. A failure doesn't work for anybody, but a success is just so beneficial to all of us. It was an incredible part of the process, and a commitment by the folks that were on the project to make it a success.
Part of our methodology early on is you take someone from a selection process where you're looking at vendors, and then you're choosing a partner. And Vertex really stepped into that. And we've done this a long time at AAC, and you guys stepped up, your entire team. The project was transparent. Tom, you and I have talked about that. The transparency was there. When there were issues, we found issues and addressed them. So it was a challenging project, but it was extremely gratifying at the end. So I just want to say that thank you very much as a partner, and look forward to the next time we partner.
Thank you for working with us. And you too, team.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank y'all so much for your time today. I'm Rick Cutter with Cloud for Utilities. Thank you for joining us.